All right, my name is Mika Sissinen. I am on the product marketing team for ServiceNow Impact. Also on the call today, I have my colleagues Matt and Karen from the Impact product management team, as well as Derek Knorr from Avalara, which is one of our very valued Impact customers. We have a lot packed in today's session, so to keep things rolling, I'm going to let them introduce themselves later when they come on. But as we begin, I just want to go over a couple housekeeping items first. This presentation may contain forward-looking statements that should not be relied on for purchasing decisions. And today's session is also part of Live on ServiceNow, which is a curated event series that connects you with ServiceNow experts and peers that can help you deploy your products and achieve value faster. We hope you join us again at another webinar in this series or one of our 360 exchanges. You can see the schedule by scanning this QR code or using the link that I think we'll share in the chat. Also, before we begin, a few more notes. We would love you to ask questions. We will reserve time at the end of the presentation for Q&A. So please use that Q&A feature within Zoom to ask questions throughout the session. This session will be recorded and shared on the ServiceNow community afterwards. Feel free to head over to that community where you will find the Impact Product Hub. That's where you can engage with experts, ask questions, see the latest innovations, and look for other upcoming events. And then finally, look out for a survey following the question. We would love to hear your thoughts. Before we get into the main content, I'd love to ask those of you on the call, how do you track the value you're getting from ServiceNow? I think we're going to bring up a poll. Thank you, Adrian. So how many of you use formal metrics and dashboards to track value? How many of you just go by gut feeling to track value? How many use manually generated reports? And then how many don't have a good tracking mechanism in place? Love to see the results here. Leave this up for a few moments. It is tied head to head between a couple that I'll let you know in a minute. All right. Good results in. Seeing a few replies still come in, so I'll leave it up a couple seconds longer. There's one that's leading. I'm going to let you know what that one is. Uh-oh. All right, we're going to end the poll, even though I see a couple more popping in here. All right, so I'm not sure you can see this, but we don't have good tracking mechanisms in place, has led the pack just by head a little bit. Formal metrics and dashboards did come in second, good. Manually generated reports came in third, and fortunately, gut feeling came in last. So, oh, pardon me, I will share the results. I didn't realize I was not sharing. There we go. All right, if you found that poll question hard to answer, you've come to the right place. We are going to be talking about impact, which is all about achieving and measuring the value you get from ServiceNow. Here's what we're going to cover today. Number one, I will give you a brief refresher on what impact is if you don't know what it is, and how it helps you put AI agents to work. Then, Karen is going to talk to Derek about how Avalara is using Impact to maximize the value they get from ServiceNow. Next, I will do a brief overview of what's new in the Yokohama release for Impact. And then after that, Matt will do a demo of the latest features. And finally, we will close off with time for Q&A. So just like I said a moment ago, Impact is all about helping you get more value faster out of your ServiceNow investment, whether it's putting AI or other innovations to work. It's what we call a customer success product that's powered by both AI and human expertise. And here's what it does in very brief. Number one, it helps you deploy and adopt capabilities like AI agents faster, helping define your visions for ServiceNow and track your ROI. Then it helps you keep things running smoothly with 24/7 tech support to help you minimize downtime and maximize productivity. Number three, it makes sure your platform performs at its peak and gives your team time to innovate and help your organization grow. And then finally, it gives you help from ServiceNow experts, increases your team's expertise, and helps them use best practices. Just in brief, these are some of the results we've seen from Impact so far. Forrester did a study for us, and they found that Impact customers are getting more value from the ServiceNow platform, often 20% or more, and Impact is also making it faster for them to deploy new ServiceNow applications. And on top of that, our customers are using Impact to improve their platform health and governance, like the ones that you see here, and improve platform innovation and upgrade faster. So before Karen talks to Derek, what I want to do is show you 4 ways Impact can help you put AI to work faster. First, Impact can help you set the foundation by helping you check if prerequisites for AI agents are ready. If not, you're going to get expert guidance and help to set them up. Next, it's going to help you optimize the performance of your platform before you put AI agents to work. It's going to make sure your platform is healthy and ready with platform health tools and expert guidance on best practices. Then it's going to also support you as you test and implement AI agents. Impact will help you see AI agents in action using a copy of your own data in a temporary instance and see how to enable and configure the capabilities that drive the most value for you. And you're going to get expert coaching along the way. And finally, it'll help you measure value and make sure you're driving the business results you need. It's going to do that by helping you refine your strategic vision, align capabilities you deploy to the outcomes you want, and then promote your success to stakeholders. All right, now that we've done that brief intro to Impact, it's finally time to hear from one of our customers. As I mentioned before, Derek Knorr is Director of Corporate Solutions at Avalara, and Karen Herrerius is from our Impact Product Management team. And she'll be taking the next few minutes to talk to Derek about how they are using Impact at Avalara. Derek, it's so great to have you on. Thank you for joining us. I will let Karen take it away.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mika. And thank you, Derek, for joining us today to share a little bit about your journey with Impact. So let's get started. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your company, Avalara, and your role within the company?
Yeah, absolutely. So great. Thanks for having me, everyone. So my name is Derek Knorr. I'm the Director of Corporate Solutions and basically the ServiceNow platform owner here at Avalara. Avalara is the biggest technology company that you guys have never heard of. Basically, if you ever bought anything, you've called our stuff. So we do sales tax computations. So buying things online, you go to happy hour, they give you a toast machine. You just called Avalara's product, which computes the sales tax on your purchase. So we are about 5,500 people strong. We're a global company. We have offices in the United States, in India, and Brazil, and a couple smaller offices within Europe. We do sales tax all over the world. So if there is a purchase to be made, odds are we are behind it. So that is really, really cool. So yeah, so that's Karen, that's about me and a little bit about the company, this crazy orange company that I get to wear all the time.
I
So
know.
yeah,
That's great. I remember when you and I first started talking and hearing about that. And then I went out to dinner and I actually used one of those toast machines. So
there we
it was
go.
very cool.
Yep, it's great.
So Derek, why don't you tell the audience here some of the applications that you're using from ServiceNow?
Okay, so Karen, we are a big believer in ServiceNow. So keep me honest here. I have a bunch, so we'll go through it. So we have ITSM, HRSD, workplace service deliveries, security operations. We have GRC, software asset management. We have a little bit of ITOM, a little bit of HAM. Geez, that's a whole lot.
That
So
is a
I
lot.
think that's enough. How
I
about
think
that?
that's,
So
yeah,
yeah,
I know I remember you telling me all about those. So,
yeah,
um, tell me when you guys started using Impact
sure.
and, how that's been helping you along with your ServiceNow journey.
Well, Karen, I gotta tell you. So, and Mika, thanks for putting up that poll at the beginning because that gave me a heart attack every time. Like my leader would come over and go, "Hey, what kind of value are we getting out of Impact, right? Or not Impact, but the platform." So I would, I was pre-Impact. I would dread this question because I'd have to run a bunch of manual reports and get a bunch of charts and kind of figure out what our ticket throughput was and all that kind of stuff. And it was a huge like I don't know like stressor for me when I got that. Now I think it was that knowledge maybe 3 4 years ago they launched Impact and I said, oh my goodness, this is exactly what I need. Okay, I need these executive dashboards, I need these metrics, I need these performance metrics that I could just go to the Impact webpage and see it and then just and share it with my executives. So that I was a huge believer from day one. So we've now been Impact customers for about 2-ish years now, and so like I am that stress as a platform owner, as a champion of the platform, is now gone for me. So I'm pretty excited that you guys have helped me with that. So
That's great. What
yeah,
are some of the key capabilities of Impact that you're leveraging that are the most helpful to you? You mentioned value and being able
yeah,
to share the value. So just curious if you could share with the audience some of your favorite
absolutely. Yeah,
aspect
so
of
I'm a
impact.
big I'm a super big advocate for all those value stuff. Okay. So I know for people on the call, they're like, well, how do I get that set up? It takes a little bit. Okay. You have to bring your executives together to agree upon the metrics, the KPIs, that sort of thing. But once you get it set up, then it's on autopilot. So that's one of the huge things. And then everyone also believes in the data too. So, like they say, oh, you're saving $800,000 in ITSM alone. Like, yes, we are. Okay. That's what we agreed on, all that kind of thing. So that's the one big thing I'm a huge fan of. The second big thing is taking advantage of all the accelerators that you guys offer. Okay. And you guys are turning out new accelerators seemingly every month, every 2 months. So the accelerators are, 30-minute, hour and a half sort of sessions that I set up for my team, for the target people on my team who are implementing things. And whether it's like jumpstart your virtual agent or jumpstart your upgrade or do a health check, that sort of thing. I'm able to connect with ServiceNow experts. My team is able to grill them about how we're supposed to set things up and all that, and check our performance and things like that. So I schedule those accelerators, like as many as I can do. As soon as one is done, I'm already on to the next one. So I'm eating them like gum, it seems. So also, and that is also, the accelerators also helped us launch analysis for ITSM. So I'm sure you got a question you want to ask me
Which,
about that,
well,
but we
I
did
was
all
going to
that.
go into that, but I know you guys just went live with Now Assist. So
We did. Yep.
it sounds like the accelerators were beneficial to get you up and going on that.
Absolutely. Yep. So we just launched Now Assist for ITSM. That includes virtual agent and the ECP portal results last week, maybe 2 weeks ago. So actually it was last week. So we are brand new on it. So virtual agent and ECP, the Genius search results, and the backend ITSM case summarization, content creation for our fulfillers. So yeah, pretty awesome.
That's fantastic. And then I know, Derek, when we spoke before, you started out with a pretty small team, and I think you're still pretty lean and mean. So if you could just share a little bit about your team, you have a list
Yeah.
of ServiceNow products, tell us about your team and then, how Impact is really enabling that as well.
Sure. Well, I rattled off a bunch of modules. Okay. And when I first got here, it was me and 3 other people. Okay. Like that is insane. So luckily, I've been able to get a bunch of headcount. So it's me and 14 other people right now that are maintaining all of these modules from a business as usual perspective, new implementations. We're going to be implementing employee document management pretty soon. We're going to do a portal overhaul as well, and amongst all of other stuff. So, but it's been very, very important to use those accelerators. And also my customer success manager, Katya, which I get through Impact, and she partners with me to help me maximize my relatively small team for according to the size of the implementation that we have. So also, I mean, people are probably wondering, well, how the hell are you guys doing that with all these people? We use Impact to leverage out of the box functionality and also the workflows that ServiceNow is optimized for. And luckily at Avalara, we are very comfortable in adjusting our workflows so we can adapt to the out of the box functionality. So that's also very helpful. So
That's
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah.
And you and Katya work pretty closely hand in hand, looking at your capabilities map and
Mm-hmm.
planning your implementations.
Yep.
And I know we're going to get into some more functionality as we move in platform. So one of the
Yeah.
things that we are doing with Impact is moving it into the platform.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Derek, I know you've been one of our partners in our innovation lab testing things, and would love to hear just about your experience and why you're excited for Impact to move to the store app in platform.
Yeah, absolutely. So Karen, thank you for getting me involved with this early adopter thing. I love doing all early adopter stuff with you. So, but when I first heard about moving Impact in platform, I was like, okay, I guess, it was kind of very not exciting to me. But guess what? I was wrong. Okay, because believe it or not, like moving it actually in the instance makes it and it makes it hard for me to ignore. Okay. Today, with me having to log into the Impact website and like be intentional about going to it, like it's very easy to put on the back burner and ignore. But now that I'm in the instance, I'm like, oh, I might as well check my Impact dashboards. Let me just click on that left menu and be right there and start doing some stuff. So moving it into the instance is a great thing. Plus, all the other cool things that we're seeing, part of this early adopter thing is about tighter integration with the platform itself. So like being able to identify things within your health health check, and then dump them to an SPM sort of record and get it assigned out for action. So that is really cool. And I'm probably going to misquote you, but like I know we talked about Impact being like a item of record. Now it's an item of action, and so you're absolutely doing that with getting that data right in the platform. So those are the really cool things that I'm looking forward to. And in addition to all the other cool stuff that's coming out, like the automatic code checking they're going to be doing. So, you know, I got a small team. We got to make sure that our update sets are set. So, you know, we have some standards, but, you know, let's run it through your tool as well and get a third set of eyes on it. So that's super cool for me as well.
Yeah, and I know that we're going to be extending the product adoption roadmap functionality to you as well, and there will be other capabilities off that will help you guys plan and execute your implementations more.
Yeah. And so, yeah. And so Katja's helped me, you know, we meet every 2 weeks to go through what my 18-month roadmap is going to be, how ServiceNow can support me, all that kind of stuff, what capabilities we have turned on, you know, like I have this, like, you know, things are on, these are off, these are what we're going to do, never going to do. And just, you know, it gives me that sort of like map of the ServiceNow ecosystem, which I can like easily like throw up to my boss and go, hey, here's what we're going to be doing in the next 18 months. These are capabilities we're not going to adopt right now. And it's been super helpful. So very, very helpful for me.
That's great. Well, Derek, thank you so much for taking some time and sharing with us today. Any
Yeah.
last tips or tricks or anything you want to close us out with?
Well, so first off, like I mentioned Katja 3 times now. So both Katja and I are presenting at Knowledge. So for you guys, if you guys are coming there, please search Avalara in the Knowledge catalog and come listen to both Katja and I talk a little bit more about this in depth, about all the cool things we have deployed and how we used Impact to realize some really killer ROI here. And that has been allowed me to really ramp up my staff because we've been able to show the value of the automations, all that stuff within the platform. So go out and register, it'd be awesome. And I'm going to hang out and to the end. So if people want to ask some questions a little about that, that's great. And also, you know, this, to me, this platform takes a village. So connect with me on LinkedIn. If you ask any questions, I'm happy to meet with you to talk about how we've done this. We've gone incredibly fast. That's the nature of both the abilities of ServiceNow and the quality of my team, and also the agility within Avalara. So hopefully you guys can learn a couple things from us. So excellent. Karen, is there anything else?
No, I think that's it. Thank you so much, Derek. Greatly appreciate you. And I'm going to turn it back over to Mika, where he's going to go into more detail about the Yokohama release, which is our first move of the store app in platform.
All right. I'm excited. All right. See ya.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Karen. And thanks especially to you, Derek, for talking to us today and sharing your expertise. We do really value the time you spent with us today. And I think you said you might hang around for the Q&A at the end as well. So if there is any questions anybody has for Derek. So in the segment that Derek and Karen did, they hinted at a couple of things that are coming up today. So it was really cool intro to the stuff that I'll be showing in a moment here. So what is new in this release for Impact? The big news, as Derek hinted at, is that we have launched a brand new Impact Store application that you can use right inside your ServiceNow instance. We've also added 2 fantastic new features that are available in that new store application, which are the SPM integration and the proactive code check feature, both of which Derek also mentioned, which sounds like they're already providing value for them. And on top of that, we've continued to make enhancements to our instance monitoring tool called Instance Observer, as well as add a number of new accelerators focused on AI agents and adoption. And then finally, we'll talk about a new add-on that's available called Configuration Assist that gives you hands-on help to activate Impact recommendations. So first, let's talk about that brand new store application we released. As Derek mentioned, what it means is that when you install the store application on your instance, you're going to be able to access insights and recommendations from Impact and features like the capabilities map and accelerators right where you work. I love what Derek said about, hey, it's right in your face. It's hard to forget. Instead of having to log into a separate instance kind of intentionally, it's right there reminding you that you can actually take action right in your own instance. So what that means is you'll be able to streamline your work and act on those recommendations faster. And to help you get familiar with the new store application, we've created a walkthrough of it that takes you through the features in a guided tour. So one of the great things about that new store application is how we've integrated it with strategic portfolio management. So if you're a platform owner using that new store application, like Derek mentioned, you can actually convert Impact recommendations and insights directly into SPM items and then activate those recommendations faster by assigning work items to the right portfolio and track their execution status to help improve accountability. And then another new feature that you can access in the store application, which Derek also hinted at, is the proactive code check feature. So what it does is automatically review your code against best practices to make sure you don't add things like technical debt and you don't fix things before they go live. So it scans your code in sub-production environments, so that helps you identify and fix any issues before they go live. And I think Matt will show a demo of that in a moment. And then, as I mentioned a couple of slides ago, we also keep on adding new features to Instance Observer, in this case, a root cause correlation capability. So if you haven't heard of it before, Instance Observer is part of Impact. You get it with your Impact license, and it's an instance monitoring solution that helps you track platform performance and availability in near real time. It helps you spot issues before they affect users and helps you make decisions based on data about your ServiceNow platform and applications. And for the Yokohama release, we've automated correlation analysis to reduce the time you need to take to review data manually to identify root causes. So that means you're going to be able to save time and increase productivity by pinpointing those underlying problems faster. And as always, we've always added even more accelerators in this release. Accelerators, as Derek mentioned, are what we call fixed scope engagements, available as part of Impact, that give you access to the right expertise as you need. And it sounds like Derek is taking advantage of those consistently. With the Yokohama release, we've added these new accelerators that help you implement and adopt AI and Now Assist faster, including Jumpstart accelerators for Now Assist Skill Kit, Now Assist for CSM, and Now Assist for Virtual Agent. On top of those AI-focused accelerators, you can also get these 5 new adoption-focused accelerators as part of Impact, including Jumpstarts for employee management, knowledge management, resource management, and legacy workflow migration, as well as one focused on user experience fundamentals. I mentioned that we've created a new service that you can add on to Impact, which is the Configuration Assist add-on. So a lot of customers have told us they would love hands-on help activating the recommendations they get from Impact. So that's why we created Configuration Assist. When you buy it, you are going to get help from ServiceNow experts to deploy unused capabilities and act on Impact Accelerator and platform health findings. You'll be able to align a technical consultant or a business process consultant to a specific product area that you have and choose the engagement length and coverage that's best for your organization. All right, with that said, now it's finally time for Matt to do his demo of all the new stuff in Yokohama. Matt, I will let you take it away.
All right, thank you so much. Thanks so much, Mika. Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining. My name is Matt Hong. I'm a product manager at ServiceNow and I've been working on Impact since 2023. Today, I'm really excited to show you our enhancements in Yokohama, specifically the Impact Store application. So first, let me set the stage a little bit. Emily is a platform owner for a fictitious company named Cabrillo Corporation. The C-suite at Cabrillo Corp have tasked her with improving the value in their ServiceNow investments. In particular, her CIO is interested in how they could get started on using AI in their ServiceNow workflows. So she navigates to Impact, the store application, to get started. Impact is now a workspace that is built into the Now platform that contains the tools and dashboards to accelerate Cabrillo's ServiceNow journey. From the homepage here, Emily can initiate a conversation with her Impact squad, a group of ServiceNow experts who will help her receive maximum value from her ServiceNow investment. First, Emily is going to check the top-line goals she hopes to achieve with ServiceNow. Based on the product that her company owns, Impact will automatically suggest common business objectives, like increasing employee productivity. Impact will also create outcomes and success metrics directly tied to these objectives we see here and help track them using live usage data from the products. This will be Emily's North Star as she continues along her ServiceNow journey. Right here in Impact, Emily gets a glimpse into the metrics that will require her immediate attention. When she selects one of these outcomes, she can track the performance over time and also see what ServiceNow capabilities are directly influencing this outcome, including ones that she doesn't have access to. She notices that Now Assist for ITSM is a capability that could help her improve this specific metric that she's tracking, but she's currently not using it. So she's going to click in to learn more about it, which takes her to the capabilities map. The capabilities map shows the ServiceNow products and capabilities that her company has purchased. At the top, she immediately sees a comprehensive overview of the adoption status for all the capabilities that her organization owns. In this view, it's really clear for her to see which ones are used by her organization and which ones have not been leveraged quite yet. Additionally, her Impact Squad can also recommend capabilities for her to examine that will improve the objectives that she cares about. Scrolling down below, Emily sees a list of all the ServiceNow capabilities she can use, broken up by the workflow as well as the product. Here, she sees that Now Assist for ITSM is recommended by her squad. So, looking for direction on what to prioritize and how to move forward, Emily then navigates to the product adoption roadmap. Her Impact Squad works with her directly to custom tailor this roadmap aligned to the outcomes that she has defined. Here, she receives a clear step-by-step roadmap for the sequence of implementation, including the adoption status of each one of these capabilities. This guided path empowers Emily to move forward confidently, knowing that the plan is tailored to her organization's unique needs and objectives to enable Gen AI for their company. So with this plan in place, Emily and her team get to work on implementing the foundational capabilities that we see here on phase 1 and in phase 2. But before pushing any changes to production, Emily wants to make sure she's not adding additional technical debt to her platform. She uses proactive code check to track any potential technical debt before it gets shipped to production. So everything looks good, and she's ready to deploy all of her latest updates. Let's fast forward a little bit in time. Emily has finished implementing all of those foundational capabilities in that roadmap, and now she's ready to implement Now Assist. At the top of the page here, she notices a few recommended next steps. First, her squad has recommended for her to use Instance Observer, a real-time platform health observability tool that Mika mentioned earlier, that she also gains access to as an Impact customer. But since she doesn't want to work on this right now, she can convert it into a work item in strategic portfolio management to work on later. On the next recommendation down below, Emily's Impact Squad recommends a Jumpstart Accelerator. This is a fixed scope engagement delivered by ServiceNow experts that will help Cabrillo Corp adopt Now Assist. Emily clicks in to learn more about this specific accelerator. When she clicks in, she can understand exactly what she is going to receive. As she takes it, she'll have coaching sessions. The squad will work with her and create a copy of her instance and share use cases and best practices on getting started with Gen AI. Once she completes the accelerator, Emily will have the inspiration and know-how to start using Gen AI independently. So it's now been 3 months since her team has deployed Now Assist for ITSM, and she receives an automated alert from her email inbox about some potential performance issues on her platform. This alert came directly from Instance Observer, which Emily goes to check out. Here, Emily can head into alerts to take a look at the new root cause correlation alerts. Her team has generated reports to help determine the root cause of certain performance issues. Emily clicks into the first report in this list, and as she opens up this page, she gets up to speed on what the root cause correlation engine has identified as potential issues. Here she can see there are several nodes within her instance that are facing high processing times. With root cause correlation, it will help identify where the problems may have arisen from to help Emily pinpoint exactly where to look to find a solution. This engine will also identify the longest running sessions for Emily. Down below, she can also see a list view of the longest running sessions that are causing issues for instances. She now has a great starting point in place as to where the performance issues may be coming from, and can ask her team to start exploring these specific areas. So going back to the Impact homepage, this is a quick overview of how the Impact Store application, as well as some of our new features and functionality that's coming out to the Instance Observer, are helping customers like Emily to maximize the power of the ServiceNow platform. So thanks so much for the time on this demo, Mika, and I'll turn it back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Matt. Just gonna make sure I'm sharing the right screen here. All right, I think I'm sharing screen one. Does it say key takeaways? Perfect, I think it does. All right, before we end with time for Q&A, let's recap key takeaways from today's session. First, the big news today was the release of the Impact Store application, which makes Impact available right inside of your instance and includes that SPM integration that we talked about, as well as the proactive code check feature. Second, as in every release, we've added lots of new accelerators, including ones focused on adopting AI agents, as well as other solutions. And you can find them all on our ServiceNow documentation site. And finally, as Matt just showed, we've added root cause correlation to our instance monitoring tool. And we've also created a new add-on called Configuration Assist that you can purchase to get hands-on help implementing recommendations from Impact. All right, we are going to take a look at the questions that have come in. I'm going to start with a great one from our Q&A column. I know there's questions also in the chat. We'll get to those after the Q&A section here. Very simple question. How do you become an Impact customer? Number one, talk to your account representative at ServiceNow. Impact is a service, pardon me, it's a SaaS SKU. So what it means is you buy it just like you would buy any other license like IT service management or CSM or HRSD, and that's you pay for it via an annual contract or 3-year contract, depending on what you get. And it's provided to you just like any other software license. So you would talk to your account representative to buy it. Let's see, next question I see here is what would be the top 3 Impact offerings to take advantage of if you've been live for only a few months? Maybe I'll quickly mention this, and maybe Derek, this one would be a great one for you to answer as well. My instinct is that capabilities map is a great one to look at to see what you've got and what you're maybe not using, and also accelerators, ones that are relevant to the products that you're using. Derek, I would love your comments on this. What would be the top 3 Impact things that people with Impact Guided should take advantage of if you've only been live for a few months?
Yeah, for sure. Number one is you need to turn on the success dashboards. Okay, so HRSD, ITSM success dashboards. That's going to allow starting to get a baseline number for your things. So I don't know if that's Impact related, Mika, but you need to turn them on. So, but the next thing is that you need to sit down with your CSM and your stakeholders to identify what you care about. Okay, like, is it mean time to resolution? Is it incident deflection? All that kind of stuff. You have to have those conversations. You have to have agreements on things such as, what's an FTE hour for you. Okay, so we're a global company. We have high cost, low cost. So we had a kind of debate about how much saving an hour of time works for us. So have those conversations. That conversation took about 6 weeks to do with all my stakeholders in ITSM and HR. So get after that now. Then you can start seeing the impact dashboards and the value metrics being associated with that. The third is get after those accelerators. So there's probably about 100 of them out there. Pick the ones that are good for you. Talk with your CSM. Get those things scheduled. Okay. And then finally is to fill out the capabilities map. This is an easy thing to push off, especially in the technical side, because there's a ton of integrations you want to say yes or no of, but it'll give you a good idea as to like what you have and what you're interested in having in the next 12 to 18 months. So those are like the 4 things that I think that you can get started with very quickly.
Great question. Yeah, I really want to stress that Derek is using the guided plan, which is that there's also a total plan for larger customers and it has even more support in it. But what you get in the guided plan already provides just so many resources to make sure that you get success, that you can just get a ton of value out of that.
Yeah. One other thing, Mika, I'm going to tell you, and this is like, spoiler alert, Vegas talk. Impact is what you get in, what you get out, what you put in. Okay, it's very easy to ignore. Even moving into instance, me as a platform owner, I can say I'll deal with that tomorrow, but don't do it. Then you're not going to see the value from it.
Yeah, great point. We have a simple question here. Maybe Adrian, can you share the link to the knowledge site? There was a question that said, can you provide a link to the knowledge info, please? Maybe we can put that directly in the chat. It might already be in there. Apologies if I didn't see it. Next question, super simple. What is a success plan? So in our terminology, there are 2 impact success plans. One is impact guided, and then the other one that we talk about is impact total. So those are the kind of 2 basic impact plans that are available. There, one is less expensive, one is more expensive, and provides you even more resources. And if you need something in between, we also have what we've just started releasing, which are what are called impact add-ons. So if you want, we have a managed support add-on that will give you additional support for technical support. We've got a platform governance add-on that gives you additional capabilities, including a platform architect to provide guidance for you. And then we have a strategic value add-on that provides you guidance from a success architect, as well as additional strategic accelerators on top of that. And then on top of that, we also have what we just introduced today, which is the configuration assist add-on, which is an additional SKU that you can purchase to get help with activating those impact recommendations and hands-on configuration help for that. So again, the 2 success plans are guided in total, and then you can talk to your account representative about that. In fact, I think that answers the next question that was on here. What are the SKUs for impact? So the names are different. So I saw the question said, are they standard and plus, but they're in terms of impact, it's guided and total, plus there's the add-ons. You do not need the add-ons to get access to the AI capabilities. You'll get access to the AI accelerators through both guided as well as total success plans. Next question was, can we only see the capabilities map with impact? Yes, the answer is yes. Once you get impact, you will have access to what Matt was showing there, which is exactly which licenses you're entitled to, as well as what the status is of each one, whether they've been implemented or adopted or not in use, so that you can make sure you're getting the most value out of everything you're licensed for. Next question in the Q&A section is, with the recommendations, will a price quote also come along with it for licensing? Great question. So like if there's most of the recommendations that Impact provides are not about buying more stuff from ServiceNow, although that could be an option. In most of the cases, it's going to be about making sure you're using what you've already paid for. So for instance, let's take ITSM, for example. Let's say you've got, ITSM Pro, but you haven't, installed virtual agent yet, or maybe you haven't optimized it. What you're going to get from Impact is basically free advice from the accelerators to say, here's how you actually do the next step for optimizing or adopting virtual agents. So there typically will not be additional costs from the recommendations, unless, maybe if you've told your Impact squad member, your customer success manager, that you have, additional needs for, let's say, security operations, then sure, they might recommend you buy SecOps. But in most cases, the vast majority of cases, it's going to be free advice for adopting and implementing stuff that you've already paid for.
Mika, let me give you a little bit of color to that. So we have policy within GRC, and it's okay. So I had Impact come in, do an evaluation of our policy, and their recommendation was, hey, guess what? Your service mappings are garbage. Okay. Also, your CMDB data associated for relative assets, your engineering assets, are garbage. So go clean that up, and then you're going to see better use out of the policy module and mapping to your controls. So
yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. Like, in fact, we have a session that's coming up at Knowledge where we have a great customer who just had way too much data in their database, and had a database that was probably 10 times as large as it needed to be. And our Impact Squad, for no additional cost, was able to say, hey, here's how you can actually clean up your database, reduce its size by 70 to 90%, and actually improve performance with, they didn't have to buy any additional licenses. They just got additional advice, and we're able to implement that recommendation and improve the performance of their platform. All right, next question. Currently, our Impact Squad is the only ones able to see the new capabilities added. Will the customer be able to see those in platform now? I believe so. So I think it's maybe Matt, you can clarify if I'm missing something here, but I think if you're an Impact guided customer, you should be able to access the capabilities map. So as you're adding new capabilities to your, let's say you purchase a new license or you implement something, you should see that update in your capabilities map live in your Impact guided model. So if that's what you're referring to, you should actually be able to see your capabilities both in your existing Impact application, which is off platform, and also in the new platform version that we just released right now. Matt, anything I'm missing there?
No, Mika, I think you got it.
Okay.
Yeah. So as you purchase new product, it'll be reflected on the capabilities map.
Great. All right, next question. Will Instance Observer ever become part of the Impact app instead of a separate user experience? Great question, Matt, or I mean, maybe Derek, you can add any color to this, but Instance Observer is intentionally off the Impact app because it is meant to be off instance and allow you to actually monitor multiple instances. So if you had it within a single instance, it would kind of defeat the purpose. So I'm not sure there is a roadmap plan to ever make it part of the Impact, part of the Impact application, especially now that we're bringing Impact in instance. So I think having it off instance on a separately accessible domain is actually part of its feature. So maybe Matt, confirm if I answered that correctly.
Yeah, that's right. So for example, if your production instance goes down or there's some issue with the sub-production instance, if Instance Observer is running in that same instance, then you wouldn't be able to check the performance, you wouldn't be able to triage, you wouldn't be able to set up alerts. So like Mika said, it's intentional that we keep Instance Observer separate from Impact and your apps.
Yep. All right, last question I see in Q&A before we go to check the chat. I've heard rumblings of Impact Advanced going away. Can you provide any information regarding that? Great question. So we have, as of the Yokohama release, simplified Impact success plans. So Impact Guided and Impact Total are the main success plans available. So for customers that have had Impact Advanced or were interested in it, we have actually specifically created the add-ons that we released also this year, including the platform guidance, strategic value, managed support, as well as configuration assist that help you actually create the personalized plan for Impact that is exactly right for your organization. So we had a lot of customers say, I don't really need everything that's in Impact Advanced. I need kind of something in between Impact Advanced and Guided. So we created that add-on set to allow you to customize Impact to exactly the needs of your organization. All right, just let me make sure I've covered everything in chat before we close. I see one question that says, how many of these functions are available with Impact Base? So we are actually not, Impact Base isn't really, I guess, technically a thing. Base sort of capabilities are what are available to customers that ServiceNow customers that have not paid for an Impact success plan. So Base is really what you get with Base is 12-hour day, 5 day a week, 5 day a week technical support that's available via the success portal, the support portal. So that is the main function that you get with if you're not a paid Impact customer. I believe there are also a couple of other features that you can access for free that aren't really technically part of Impact, but you can access leading practices information, obviously, that is available for free as well. And then I think there is an admin center as well. That's part of your application as well that you can access. All right, there's a question that says, how do you get to the Impact workspace? So if you install, I think that means if you install the Impact Store application, I believe there is a workspaces drop-down in your instance menu, and then you just choose Impact as the workspace. You'll only see that once you've installed the Impact Store application. Matt, can you clarify if I answered that right?
Yep, that's correct. So similar to, if you have like Asset Workspace or SPM, any other workspace, you'll be able to see it as a drop down at the top of your instance.
Yeah. There was a couple last questions, or maybe one or two. Will Impact tell you if there is any, I think it means technical debt? Proactive code check, I think, will kind of tell you as you go if there is if there's any kind of errors or things that you can improve in the code that you're implementing. I'm not sure it's going to do an actual holistic check of your entire set. However, there is a health assessment tool that will actually do more or less exactly that. Matt, do you want to confirm if and how health assessment would do kind of a check for technical debt?
Definitely, yeah. So with Health Assessment Dashboard, what Impact provides is we have a list of kind of best practices across 5 key areas, things from manageability, user experience, upgradability, and we're able to check your instances based on those best practices. There are areas that we see any sort of anomalies, or for example, areas where you could be using, a specific variable in your code a little bit differently. We'll call those out and create a score, a percentage out of 100 based on how you fit alongside our best practices. And then we'll also provide, ways to remediate and actually fix those issues, those anomalies that we call out. So that feature is still slated to be released in the store application. So it's not available quite yet. But it is available in our portal experience, which was, kind of the before the store application, how customers would access Impact functionality. So that's planning to be available. Proactive code check is more so if you have code that's written in a sub-production instance, and before you want to push that into production, doing a quick check and making sure that you're not adding any additional technical debt into your platform. So it's really trying to be proactive in the sense that you're not pushing additional technical debt, because once it's in production, oftentimes it's really hard to remove it. It's very hard to get rid of it. So we're trying to put in a few more places in there where you can check that before it becomes a much potentially a larger problem later.
Hey, Matt and Mika, let me jump in here one more thing. I did not give the health assessment enough credit during my talking with Karen. That is another huge benefit for me and my team, how Impact is. And for those of you who've been in this environment for, over 5 years, I used to have to pay for a health assessment. I mean, it was $30,000 to $50,000 for them to be able to tell me if I have old variables or things like that. Now it's free. So if you're helping build a case to get Impact, don't sleep on that.
Great point. And Derek, I see another point that you sounds like you responded around Instance Observer as well. You're saying,
yeah,
in the chat, your team was seeing long transaction times over a minute, and you were able to use Instance Observer to notice that you have 6 million records from Wiz in your SecOps module, and you're looking at ways to fix that.
Yeah, that was a fun thing to find out on Friday. So, yep.
But yeah, without Instance Observer, which is part of Impact, you would not have been able to figure that out probably quite as easily, I'm sure.
Nope, we'd be guessing. How about that? So, yep.
All right, so we see the knowledge registration link there. Thank you so much. Then I see in chat, next question is, how do I install Impact on the existing instance? And Derek already answered that. It's literally just directly in the in the ServiceNow store. And I think your Impact squad will give you guidance and help setting up. There's a couple steps where I believe you need to add a connector. Matt, do you want to confirm what that connector is that you need to add?
Yeah, so you need to set up a service bridge integration, which essentially connects your instance to the delivery instance. That's where the squad members do their work. That's how they're able to push recommendations, and how you're able to initiate accelerators. So that will need to be set up. We do have all of the steps laid out in our technical documentation. And if you're interested in getting started as well, as part of the Yokohama release, like as soon as possible, we're also willing to provide some engineering and technical support for folks who are hoping to get started as soon as possible. So all that detailing should be in our technical docs as well.
And then I see one last question in the chat. There's a couple more that showed up in Q&A. We still have a few minutes, so I'll do those as well. Is proactive code check available in Impact Guided? Matt, I think the answer is yes, correct?
Yep.
Yep. Yep. So perfect. You got all the stuff that we just talked about. Last couple questions in Q&A. How is Impact Guided provisioned? And what I mean is who gets access to Impact? Matt, do you want to answer that question?
So in terms of who gets access to Impact, so you can determine who gets like admin, view access for Impact. And for guided and total, all the other packages is pretty much the same. I don't know if that's necessarily the question you're asking. Are you asking if there's like a limitation, like do you only get 5, 10?
Yeah, exactly. Like I think that's the question is like, if I'm the platform owner, but I want to assign Impact access to other team members, can I do that? And
I'm actually not too sure about that. I think I could definitely follow up with you, Dorothy, on that one to figure out if there's any limitations on like licensing and permissions for that.
All right, a couple more questions have popped up here. So will there be a way to request health scan exclusions for the new Impact Store app? We currently have to route those through our platform architect. Matt, I do not know the answer to that. Do you?
Not that I know of either, Chris. Apologies for that, but I can definitely forward this to our inbound team and see if they have any answers around this. Is there anything in specific that you want to exclude regarding health scan?
Yeah, you can just add another question if there's something you want to exclude specifically, Chris. While we're waiting for that, if Chris is still on, I see one additional question from Cindy that it looks like Derek, you want to answer. So the question from Cindy was, so if we only have one ServiceNow staff member for the entire company, will Impact still be beneficial? Derek?
Cindy, if that's you, good luck. But that's awesome. Actually, when I started my talk, it was just me and 3 others, and it was super beneficial for me. So even having a small team, a team of 1, you can still satisfy those executive requests for the value that you're getting out of the platform. For me, that used to take weeks to prepare. So that is going to give you, take that off your shoulders. In addition, like it's going to give you step-by-step guidance as to what you need to do to grow your platform, and also things to do to make sure that it's as functioning as properly as it is. So I still think that it's super valuable, and because of the small size of my team, I knew that was going to augment my team's skill set very early as I ramped up.
Great, thank you for that answer, Derek. All right, I saw a clarification from Chris. He said we exclude things regularly with our squad. It's less and less as they resolve findings, but often find findings that we agree to accept the risk or relevant to us at all. So I think what Chris is saying, Matt, is that they're able to do that with the regular Impact. So the previous Impact application, just wanted to know if that was available on the store application. So I'm guessing if they've been able to do that with their squad previously, I don't think that should change in the store application, but I would still probably recommend Chris check with his squad, Matt, unless you suggest otherwise.
Yeah, I think I would check with the squad and see what the limitations are in there. But yeah, I think it's Chris, it seems like you're asking more so if it's like being able to kind of dismiss certain findings that aren't relevant and being able to kind of exclude that from the health scan check. Yeah, I would say that's something that I am not too sure if we're able to do on the store app. I think it will probably be limited the same way as we have it right now, but I think it's great feedback for our inbound team to be able to kind of self-select what things you want to check within health scan.
Oh, and I'm seeing chat, pardon me, I'm seeing a note here from Michael Scully. Thank you, Michael. Health assessment does allow for exclusions via the platform architect, as Chris has mentioned here, and then proactive code check also may be able to ignore, but I think you'd probably need to confirm. All right, that was a lot of questions, a lot of interest in the store application, and tons of questions for Derek as well. I really appreciate everybody who asked questions. I have just thanks so much to Derek for joining us and answering and being available for the Q&A. Before we close, just a couple of quick reminders. We do host these webinars regularly. You can see a list of them here at this first QR code on the left. Number 2, you can go to the Impact community and find today's recording as well as upcoming events and ask questions and engage with other Impact customers. So thank you so much for joining us, and thanks also to Matt for his demo, and especially to Derek, as I mentioned, for joining us for the wonderful conversation that he had with Karen, and also staying on full length of the hour to answer questions for the Q&A with his expertise. So it's been my pleasure to share these new details about Impact with you. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Take care.
See you at Knowledge.
Thanks, Derek. Take care.
Derek.
Later, guys.
All